So here I am in Nanaimo, BC, Canada, and we had quite a dump of snow. So needless to say, this is lovely weather that I prefer not to be out in. And I'm expecting a courier to come to the house to pick up a parcel, so I really shouldn't be going too far. But yet I want to make sure that I give my dogs adequate exercise and mental stimulation. Sometimes you can pick activities for your dog that your dog might actually even prefer sometimes over a walk. I don't want to suggest that our dogs don't need physical aerobic exercise, but mental stimulation is equally important, and sometimes our dogs just don't get enough of that. But if you're like me, you can get into kind of a routine. You do your morning coffee, you do your morning walk, but some days we just have to be flexible, and our dogs have to be flexible too. And it actually really helps our dogs' brains to be more flexible and not get into a specific set routine every single day. So, what am I gonna do with my dog? The first thing I'm gonna think about is, what goals do I have for my dogs? Now, my dogs are 3 completely different personalities. I'm working on different things for each dog. So I have to think about which dog I'm working on, what I'm gonna do with that dog. Maybe one dog needs to relax a little bit more. Maybe I'm not gonna take every dog on every activity. There's a common belief that Border Collies especially need to just be run to the ground, like pretty much need to exercise constantly and all the time. They have huge energy and they are persistent, but at the same time, they do sometimes need to learn calm, and that's something that I'm really working on with my dog Raven. When I started this video, I had a specific exercise that I wanted to do for my dogs in mind, but the truth is that we have to fit our training into our real life, and we have to often adapt what we plan to what is actually going on, both for us and for our dogs. So one of the goals that I have actually for 2 of my dogs, my younger dogs, is focus, attentiveness, and recall skills. Raven has come a huge long way with recall, but he can still get very, very overexcited. Now, Skeen has issues with sounds, dog sounds, wildlife sounds. Mostly his triggers are critters that move, and he's very, very attuned to the neighbor dog. So I've worked a lot on Skeen's issues, and now it's time to push his boundaries just a tiny bit more. Often people start doing the most difficult thing. Like, for example, if your dog is reacting to the dog next door, they want to put their dog right next to the fence and they want to do the work right there. And that's called training in the situation. You want to train away from the situation so that your dog has good patterns, your dog learns good habits, and your dog starts to react in a different way that is beneficial for both you and for the dog. When I started doing this video, I thought, oh great, we'll work outside, just outside the door. And then I went outside and the snow is sloppy and it's raining, and Raven was getting really overexcited. And then I thought, you know what, I actually have to start with what I do in real life, which is to do a little bit of boundary work and some calm. So I want to show you a bit of what happens in real life and some of the things that I'm working on with my dogs, and some of the process involved and things that we all go through with our dogs. So the first thing that you want to do is you do want to make sure that your dog has pottied, and because we weren't going on our field walk, I took each dog individually out. When I started to shoot, I realized that my floor was a mess, so I was going to start sweeping. And as I started sweeping, Raven got very, very excited. So Raven is super, super interested in motion, and this is something that is part of the Border Collie genetics. So Border Collies are bred to basically be very attentive to motion. That's what they're bred for. They're bred to notice every little movement if a sheep is out of place. So we can't really blame Border Collies for being what they are. But at the same time, I need to sweep the floor. So I thought I'd work on a boundary exercise. So boundary work is just so great for dogs because, first of all, it teaches them calm. It gives them something to do when they're overexcited. It gives you a specific thing to direct your dog towards when your dog is getting overexcited. Boundaries can be incorporated into so many different exercises. And basically, when I say boundary work, what I'm talking about, some people call it mat work, crate work, you can use crates. What it really is you pick a specific area. It could be the couch, it could be a mat, it could be a dog bed, it can can be a raised bed. I like the raised beds because with mats, sometimes it's like a little bit less distinguishable from the floor, whereas the raised bed is definitely a thing. But crates can be used as well, and sometimes crates are actually really useful. So the boundary work and the broom were just a bit too much to ask from Raven at this time, and so I decided to put him in a crate, and I can continue to still reward him in the crate, but he doesn't have the option to jump around while I'm doing the sweeping. Now, like I said, you don't want to necessarily put your dog in the situation. This is asking a lot of Raven, but if I was to put him in the other room, he might start barking and it might actually escalate the situation. So in this situation, putting him in the crate is just the easiest thing to do. So the exercise we're going to do today is about giving in to leash pressure. So what we're trying to really do is we're trying to rewire our dog's brain so that when there's a distraction and we have to exert a bit of leash pressure, their response is to turn to us, and it's an automatic default. You want to start this exercise indoors where your dog is most comfortable and where there are few distractions. And as your dog gets confident and is doing really well with the exercise, you can start to move, like say just outdoors, outside the door, in your backyard. And then you will gradually move to places where the distractions are far away and they're not going to be right in your dog's face. And basically this is ongoing. You just continue to do these exercises whenever you get a little free moment. So while I'm working on each individual dog, I put the other two dogs on their boundaries, which in my case happen to be my coaches. The first thing to do is to fill a container with some goodies, and we're gonna put that down on the ground a little bit away over here and grab a dog. Go get it, Skeen. So build up some value in this container. Good boy. Yes! Good job. Yes! So when he's looking towards me, yes! And facing me and coming towards me, we give him our marker word, which is yes, and then treat. Yes. Yes. Good. Yes. Good job. I'm gonna treat these dogs for being on their boundaries because they're being very good. Yes, and you're being very good. Okay, go get it. And normally, if I wasn't holding a camera in my hand, I would be putting the leash pressure on this part of the leash, the front part. Yes, good job. Get it. Okay, good work. Okay, let's get you up. Good job. Good job. Yes, good job. Yes, good job. Yes, good job. Good job. Yes. So these don't have to be big long sessions. They can be like a 3-minute training session. And that's what I love with having like a pocket full of exercises and games that you can do anytime you're waiting for the courier or you can't go for a walk. I hope those games and exercises gave you some ideas. If you take small steps with your training, just a couple of minutes every day, these things all add up to better habits and better relationships with our dogs. So let me know how your training goes, and I hope to see you in the next video. Happy training. Excuse me. You're not playing with my cameras. He gets absolutely obsessed when there's a little crunchy down there. I'm sure that it's down there, but I don't know where it is. I don't know if we can find it. Oh, buddy. Oh. Okay, wait a minute. Ready? Wait. Okay, get it. Oh, gosh.